I am continuing in my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am continuing reading in a chronological order, according to event, not according to publication or volume, so I'm skipping around a bit as I move along. I'm continuing my reading right now, again, still in the Doctrine and Covenants, getting near the end, but we're not quite there yet. Right now, we will be reading in section 125. My last 4 videos were all section 124, in which God commands them to build a temple, build the Nauvoo house, a house for the boarding of travelers, as well as write a proclamation to all the rulers of the world. At the end of that section, God also revealed a reorganizing of all the general authorities of the church. That was last section. That was section 124. That was in January of 1841. We now move on to section 125. Now, between these two sections, we have a couple of months. And what's going on here is that the city charter had been approved in December, and then we have these commandments given in section 124. The saints are now building up and starting to do the things that are both in the charter and in the revelation. So, from the charter, we have the city council is elected. First mayor is elected, being John C. Bennett, who helped the saints secure the charter. They also get the Nauvoo Legion, with Joseph Smith commissioned as the lieutenant general. The city itself is divided into wards. They get the Nauvoo house incorporated as a house of public entertainment, meaning a boarding house or hotel for travelers. They also get an Agriculture and Manufacturing Association is incorporated in the town, and they establish a university. All of these things are done according to the charter of Nauvoo, and the Nauvoo house being, of course, commanded by God. They have not yet laid the foundation or the cornerstones of the temple, but they are making progress as they move along. They are in security now. They have the security of the city charter. And so they are progressing. And of course, the English converts are moving into the city, and it is growing rapidly. I mean, when they started, they had a couple, like 1,000 or 2,000 people from the saints moved in to what was Commerce, became Nauvoo. Now I think they are at 5,000 or 6,000, and it has been only about a year and a half. So that is where we are now. Now we turn to section 125. The heading states, a revelation given through Joseph Smith the prophet at Nauvoo, Illinois, March 1841, concerning the saints in the territory of Iowa, recorded in History of the Church, Volume 4, pages 311 to 312. So remember that the saints aren't just in the city of Nauvoo. That's on the Illinois side of the Mississippi River. On the Iowa side of the Mississippi River, just across the street from Nauvoo, they have established the city of Zarahemla in Iowa. And that's who we're directing this revelation to, is to those saints in Zarahemla, Iowa. I mean, it's not just in Zarahemla. They are spreading out into other towns as well, just like they are in Nauvoo. They don't just live in the one place, but the vast majority of them are in Nauvoo or Zarahemla. So let us read section 125. What is the will of the Lord concerning the saints in the territory of Iowa? Verily, thus saith the Lord, I say unto you, if those who call themselves by my name, and are assaying to be my saints, if they will do my will and keep my commandments concerning them, let them gather themselves together unto the places which I shall appoint unto them by my servant Joseph, and build up cities unto my name, that they may be prepared for that which is in store for a time to come. Let them build up a city unto my name upon the land opposite the city of Nauvoo, and let the name Zarahemla be named upon it. And let all those who come from the east and the west and the north and the south, that have desires to dwell therein, take up their inheritance in the same, as well as in the city of Nashville, or in the city of Nauvoo, and in all the stakes which I have appointed, saith the Lord. So here we have the official naming of the city Zarahemla. I thought it would have already named before this point, but maybe this is where it gets its name. But God is saying, gather to those cities that I have appointed as stakes. In other words, they already have stake presidents over certain areas. And as the saints gather, they're called from England, from Canada, from the south, from all directions. As you gather to the saints, gather to the places that have stakes organized. So we have the Nauvoo stake, we have the Zarahemla stake, and the Nashville stake. Now, so We have the Nauvoo stake, we have the Zarahemla stake, and we have the Nashville stake. And the Nashville stake, in this case, this is not Nashville, Tennessee, but Nashville, Iowa. So that is where we're at. And it's just saying, if you're going to obey God, gather to his people. Gather where he is commanding. And if you are calling yourself saints and you are unwilling to follow the commandments of God, then you're not really saints, are you? You're just people calling yourself saints. So it is... Now, I think the question, the first verse was, they were asking Joseph Smith what they're supposed to do. And Joseph Smith takes the question to God. And in the end, I think the reason for this is a lot of people were already settling in Iowa. But Section 124 talked about gathering to Nauvoo and doing all these things in Nauvoo. And the people were wondering, well, are we supposed to leave Iowa and come to Nauvoo? I think that's the real, what's behind the question of what's the will of the Lord concerning us. Is, are we supposed to move to Nauvoo, or are we good where we're at? And God is saying, gather wherever the stakes are. You're good where you're at. Anybody moving into the area can move to any one of the stakes. He's telling the people that don't worry about the exact location. There's a small movement in the church, started I think back in the 80s or 90s, to move to Independence, Missouri, or move to Missouri so that you can be there when the second coming comes. So you're already there. You already have a claim on land in Zion, kind of the idea. That was the idea. Move to Missouri so you already have a claim on land in Missouri, in Zion, when Christ returns. And I think that was, a lot of people had that idea in the early church. Nauvoo is the center point, and we should all be gathering to Nauvoo. And it was partly because of still the trauma and persecutions of Missouri. The idea is all congregate into one place, and we have strength in numbers. And God is saying, look, just gather to where I've called you to gather. Don't worry about doing extra. I have set up a town. I've set up a stake in Iowa. That's fine. That is a stake of Zion. You can gather there, and you are still part of Zion. You don't have to be in the center. You don't have to be in the city of Zion to be a part of Zion. Everybody who is in the stakes of Zion is a part of Zion. But I'm going to leave that here, and we will read section 126 next, so I will see you there.